Today we are putting our thinking caps on playing the Vegapunk leader in the OP09 format. Just remember, this does not have the new OP10 cards. We will be doing an OP10 Vegapunk very soon with a more mid-range and trash strategy. Playing into the late game, getting bodies on board. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun, guys. But for now, we have been asked to do OP9 format because I know that's what you guys have been asking for and want to see. I've got you guys 3 different deck lists today. So we have a down-to-the-ground aggro strategy, beat your face in. We have a mid-range Jozu Doflamingo kind of setup, in my opinion. I think that's the least perfected out of all of them, but I think that's one that could be really good in current meta. And then we get into the 9 drops, the 8 drops, the 7 drops, that kind of strategy where it's more towards the end of the game, really just trying to develop big bodies and starve out our opponent of resources and making sure we don't get starved out at the same time. Just gaining life and going through making the game as long as possible. NL strategy, just being annoying, doing our thing. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, as always, I'm going to plug the Discord. Join the Discord down below. We're almost at 500 subs where we will be doing a giveaway for 500 subs. I think we're like 89 away to be exact as of the day of recording. So thank you guys so much for the support. Subscribe. One Piece family, let's get into the deck list and have some fun today. So I'll start with deck list number 1 here. This is going to be the end game 8 drops, 9 drops, 10 drops kind of deck. 10 drops a little weak, so I do have 2 of the 7 drops, 2 of the 10 drops. 7 drop really helps us play on curve with our leader ability. One more note, guys, I had you guys ask for more detailed and specific plays, why I'm doing certain things in this Vegapunk deck list, on why I'm playing something in the board, why am I playing something in life. So I will be going through all of that as we play the games today. But anyways, you go into the 8 drop Katakuris, the 9 drop Yamatos. You should know what these do by now. You may not know what Atlas does, though. If you have a low life than your opponent, this card cannot be KO'd by battle. 2K counter Usopp, not really using the trigger, but it is good in certain matchups, I guess. Edison's also a 2K counter we usually don't want to play out, but it is a draw 2 trash 2. Shaka is just our blocker, but this is one of the most important cards in our deck. Nico Robin just helps us draw 2, again, playing into that end game, going +1 in hand size, which is really hard for our deck without Darishishi. Darishishi is something you could tech in here maybe for the Bonnie, because the Bonnie's not as played. We're not really swinging actively into life, so I may actually switch that over for this list. But we have 2K counter Frankie, draw 1, then if you have 1 or less life, play this card. Really good because we can set this up at 1 or to be our second life, guaranteeing that it plays out. You have Monkey D. Luffy, basically KOs a 4 cost, Lilith the Searcher. So you should know what this does. It's $35 or $30 now, so I hope you have the play set. We have Bonnie, which again, I think I'm going to switch out for Darishi, so don't worry about her. We have 5 drop Nami, KOs a 5 cost, 7 drop Linlin, you know what she does, and then Please Save Me, Rayquaza Help, or whatever it's called in English. Play up to 1 cost 5 or lower egghead type character from your trash. The trigger's the main thing. The extra 3K power is good if needed, but usually it's just for this. And like I said, I'm trying the Darishishi. It literally just looks at the top 5, and you grab 2 characters with trigger, which we have, or 2 cards with trigger, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards to grab. Not counting that there's multiples of each, so about 35, 40 cards of our deck is just triggers. So I think Darishishi is definitely good. Let's take a step down, go more mid-range, more trash life. I think this is a lot more complete in the OP10 format with the 8-drop Eustace Kid rather than just the Nico Robin. The Nico Robin is really good though. Trash one of your trash up to one of the top of your opponent's life cards. Obviously, that's just good. It's just that simple to say it. That's just good. Just trashing someone's life, making sure it doesn't go to hand. This is really good to play on our curve being 7 Dawn. I know 6, but 1 for our leader, 6 for this. That's what we want just about every turn. So it still goes with our first curve. Same thing with the Katakuri or what the Kid will do in the future if we get the Kid. It plays really well into our first curve, but if we're going second, we can still play them on second and then just not use leader ability that turn. So it still all works out in the end. A lot of the other stuff is the same though, except we run 3 of the Darishishi instead. We do run the stage, making sure our characters do go active because we will be doing more swinging with our characters on board. And then we run 2 of the S-Snake. It's a 5-drop 6K that stuns a 6 cost or lower, which really helps with our mid-range strategy in my opinion. And I also think the Bonnie really helps with the mid-range strategy a lot more than what it would have in the late game deck. And then finally, the super aggro OP8.5, basically kind of deck list. Nothing really new here. Definitely a really good deck. It's literally just low to the ground, egghead type characters. So much going on where you're just swinging face, clearing board as much as you can with Namis or stunning characters. Standing characters is active. I go in case you need it to KO any character in the game. And then a 1-drop event, which I think you will see does come in handy sometimes, and sometimes it's the most useless card ever. So it doesn't really matter. Let's get into the games and enjoy this Vegapunk, the big brain strategy One Piece family that you guys know I love so much. I brought this to locals. I need to bring it back, honestly. So once we find the perfect deck list and we continue to build on it, I'll bring it to locals and tell you guys how I do in the Discord down below. I'll see you later. Let's get into the game. Also, my throat is still kind of hurting, so I'm doing my best. I've got my water over here, which is always drink your water, but I'm taking a lazy day. No gym today. Sorry, no gains happening today, but I get to hang out with you guys, play some Vegapunk. Now we're getting into the games. So this may not be the most important showing of the matchup, but I definitely think it's one that you will see. The only reason I mulliganed that hand was because it had the Luffy, which is good, but then it had 2 Usops, and I'm like, I'm never going to use these. We're going to cheat out the Lilith early just so we can search the top, and we will grab the Nami because clearing their board is going to be very important in these matchups, seeing that we are not going to really swing their life very often. We really just don't want to lose resources at the moment, and we don't need pseudo blockers or anything like that. He grabs a Tony Chopper, the 3 cost from EBO1, and then we could swing his life, put 2 into him, but he looks like he has 1 up. That could always be the counter event, and we don't want to see that, so I think we'll just leave it be. Like, I think we may just add the Nico Robin to the top of our life, go ahead and take what it is, because he's not going to have any swings for us to swing into next turn anyway, so we can just add to the top of our life. Some people may be against that kind of strategy, but in this very aggressive deck list that we're going against, we don't need bodies on the board right now, and they have nothing else to swing into, so it forces them to choose not to swing, helping us develop more characters, while also, if they do swing us, we have the Nami for next turn, so we can play out the Edison and then cheat out the Nami with leader effect, clearing this Chopper right here. Obviously, choosing not to swing, which is really smart, but that's just part of the game. We're going to be at 5 here, so I think we will play out the Edison to draw 2, trash 2, because then we can cheat out the Nami. The math just works there. We haven't seen any of our big bodies yet, which does suck, but we'll swing. He has the 1 open again. We know he has the event, so we have to just basically accept, hey, you're going to use this event here, and we're just going to have to deal with it. At this point in the game, we're just going to have to deal with it. And the reason we're not playing the Lilith here is because the Lilith would replace itself and we wouldn't get the full effect of Nami. This will help us filter. Never mind. It doesn't help us filter, but we do get to deploy a card here. And then we will give this card the Nico Robin, KO the Chopper, and drawing a card to get another Nico Robin. And I think that was the best bet for us. We got to clear out 1 body that is very important for this Chopper deck list. Kind of taking their leader ability offline because they don't get that 1 extra Dawn on every single swing. If they do swing Lilith, we will let it go. I'm not going to sit here and waste my time on it. He gets another Chopper, not knowing that we have another Nami here. I almost feel like I'm playing the aggro strategy or the mid-range strategy rather than the top end because we haven't seen any yet. But I guess that's just part of the game we play. Let's see what he wants to do here. If I was him, I would probably use the 3-cost Chopper as a swing here, just guaranteeing the kill on the Lilith, I think is very important. Yep, it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen, and then we will just let it go, just like I said. 6 into 3 is not worth, into 2 is definitely not worth countering out, because that would be actually impossible for us, so definitely not going to do that. He swings 7 at face, we use the trigger, and now, again, we have to math out. So we have 7 cards in hand, so we won't get the extra draw from our leader here. Let's start swinging and see what he will give us for free, because we can go ahead and clear out these bodies. That would be the best. We'll swing 6 here, see if he wants to give us 2 cards. It looks like no. So now we know we can play out a 5-drop and then cheat out the Nami, which I think we will cheat out the Monkey D. Luffy. And then, we could just use the Luffy effect, which actually might be better because the Nami can be good for later. We can get a blocker on the board, or we could get the Atlas, which is un-KOable in their aggressive strategy. But I don't think the Shaka would be bad. Let's go with Shaka and then trash this, KO this, and draw a card. Now we get into our top end here, getting the Yamato to basically have survival, which is obviously going to be really good later in the game. in this matchup, you haven't hit their life at all, so Yamato can KO any 6 cost right now. So on the next turn, we could technically KO the Law. It just depends on what they swing into. It looks like 8 into 5 here. We are just going to let that go. I don't think we don't even have the counter for it anyways. But even if we did, I don't think it would be worth it. And now we can start... We could either start dropping Yamatos, which wouldn't be bad, or we can drop down the Nico Robin. We could gain a life, right? So that would be gaining a life. We could put Lilith in the top. No, I think Lilith will be good to play. 1 extra to have for our... So we'll play out Lilith. We'll grab another Nami here. And then we know we're going to be playing out the Nami. We'll go and play out the Nami. Discarding the Nico Robin should go on the top of our life. I think we'll discard the Atlas to clear that out. And he just gives up. I don't blame him because we got every removal card in the game, but he was just done. All right, now we're in that late game deck list for a second time because that last game was just a little too short for us. I think we keep this hand just because we have our late game. We have the Atlas and we have the Dorishishi, which we could play on our next turn. We'll deploy a card, getting Atlas out. Again, remember, always put out a character on your first turn. There's no reason not to put out a character because they cannot swing your life. So there's not a loss really just letting it, playing out the Atlas there because they can't do anything to me. So for safety or for the idea, we are still safe. We don't lose. They don't have lethal. So we don't really have to stress it. He grabs a 10-drop Shanks, not the one he's looking for, but a really good one into our deck list, not being the low to the ground. You get so much value out of clearing stuff like Katakuri, stuff like that. We are playing on our curve, which again is 8 and 1 for leader. So, well, it looks like Dorishishi is going to be our only option. We do have a free 6k swing into leader. That's what's really strong with this deck into Shanks, is that our bodies are 6k. Guys, I gotta take a sip of my water. My throat's killing me. So he takes the hit of damage. We play Dorishishi. We will grab a Frankie and a Nami, just getting 2 more cards to hand and then pass the turn. Basically, it's a free +1 in hand size there, so that's going to be really good. We don't get to use our leader ability, but I don't think we're too stressed about it. He can't swing our Atlas. It's not KOable, so that's really good. We should hopefully not see a Lucky Brew. I would not enjoy that. He chooses to play out the Hongo, giving our character minus 2,000 power, and then he'll swing 6 into the character. We just let that go because he can't KO it. Yep. And he may just quit after that. He may just give up. Nope, chooses not to just give up. I like this guy already. We'll swing here, and then I think we will play out... Frankie and then gain the Robin as life. Add to top of life, Robin, pass turn. The reason we gained life in that situation is because we were on 5 Dawn. We could only play out a 4 cost, and then playing out a Nami had no effect. Playing out an Usopp has no effect. The Nico Robin's a +2. So in case you're wondering why we didn't develop a body like a Nami, it wouldn't do anything. This is such a strong card, you don't want to just waste it. So we definitely will just let that go there. Not too worried about it. Now he's learned he can't swing the Atlas anyways. We're still lower in life, so he still can't kill the Atlas. So he's going to have to swing our life and give us a draw 2, or he's just going to have to let that go. He swings 5 at us. We will take and just use the trigger to draw more cards. Drawing more cards is always going to be good, and I think we could play out the Robin and then cheat out the Shaka after, but I think we'll just swing. He has 2 active here, right? So if we start swinging with the Frankian, he can just KO something with the Fire Fist or whatever. So we're going to put 1 here. The reason we put 1 here is because he KOs a 4,000 power or lower, so the Shanks could give it -1 and then KO it with the Fire Fist, and we don't want that to happen. So at least this guarantees this has to be killed by either Lucky Roo or something else, and it still allows us to play on curve, because if he doesn't give us the Lucky Roo, we can force out the Lucky Roo. I can make him give it to me, and he chooses obviously not to. He clears the Frankie, which is still really good for us because he just didn't want to take an extra swing, but the Atlas is the stronger character on the board, right? So now we will play out Shaka for 5, and then we will add a card to the top of our life, because again, he has to swing our life now, so there's no reason not to add something to the top of our life, meaning that we can now cheat out that Frankie again and basically not lose anything for the turn if he swings our face. If he swings our Atlas, it's not clearable. You can't kill it. There's nothing you can do there. So we're still in a really safe spot here, honestly. We do have this for if he does drop a Rayleigh on us, which I obviously don't want to see, but it's very possible. In the deck we're going against, it's very possible for him to just drop a Rayleigh, try to clear our board out, stuff like that, because he could use the Rayleigh to give -3 here, -2 here. Oh, he plays out the Beckman. He gets to just trash a character. That's honestly fine with me because, again, if he swings our life here, we get the Rayquaza and we get the Shaka back. So we don't really lose anything. Most we lost was the Frankie earlier, but it saves us from losing anything else. And he just passes over, which tells us, so this is the issue with Linlin, right? If he chooses to heal us and not trash a life, then we're even life and the Atlas has no effect anymore. So that's why we are gonna play the Katakuri, give him a life, right? So we're gonna swing 6 into face here. We're gonna play the Katakuri out, give him an extra life, and then we can add a card to the top of our life after that. You see? So it's kind of a win-win for what we're trying to do here. He does -1. He's gonna give us a 1k from hand, it looks like, being the Yasop. Now we play down this, we add this to the bottom of life. See, now he's at 5 and we're at 4. So we're cutting off some of our abilities, but we can use this. And I think we just keep holding on to these. I really like holding on to this. Just know that he's going to 10, so he's going to clear this next turn, which does suck. So maybe we do develop another body. We'll develop the Nami and just pass turn. I did a little shift right there really quickly, but I thought about the 10-drop Shanks, right? He's dropping this 10-drop Shanks to clear our Katakuri for sure. And so I think just having the extra body's better. And we put him in a position that he can't clear our board. And we set up the fact that we didn't gain a life. We set up our 7-drop Linlin. I hope that all makes sense. Because we can choose what we do here to be safe, because the 10-drop is definitely coming in. The 10-drop that KOs a 10,000 power or lower character, which is obviously going to be our Katakuri. At least that's what I would expect, because we did see him grab it earlier. If he doesn't do that, I think that's a misplay in my opinion. And then he can just swing 5 in the face. Yep, misplay central. He cleared out our Atlas. What is the purpose of clearing Atlas there? I don't understand that one for sure, but hey, it's part of the game we play, I guess. You have to just accept what he did. I don't know. We'll play the 7-drop down. That'll let us choose if we want to even swing him or not. It's really looking like probably not. If he trashes his life, we can choose not to swing. If he gives us a life, I feel like either way here, we just don't swing. Not that it matters as much, but he does trash his life, getting rid of a Red Hawk, which is a really good card to get rid of. And now we're not too scared to gain life because we don't have the character on board to really affect us. We could add this to the top of our life, which may not be bad. I'm not against him swinging into our Nami at this point, so we could go 7 into face with the Nami, make him think we're really going to go in here, and then just gain another life, because now we could, he clears the Nami, we put another Rayquaza, we can technically use the Nami with the Rayquaza, so we will add to the top of our life, play this out, pass turn. We don't have to get lower life because he did clear the Atlas, which I do understand side of things of like, oh, you play that, whatever, but because this is not KOable from battle right now. But I don't know. I definitely would have cleared the big guy, but maybe that's just me. He's sitting at 4 life. We have a stronger board at the moment. He could do another 10-drop here with Rush, but we can cheat out a Shaka. We can cheat out the Atlas again. We can be really safe because now that this is cleared in the trash, it's played out again from Please Save Me. He does play out the Rayleigh, which is really bad for us, knowing that he's going to swing probably 7 into face and then 12 into face. He may keep this up for the Red Hawk. Honestly, we're not really sure at the moment, but we'll just have to see what he does. He chooses to do nothing at all. And this is where things get crazy. This is where things get crazy. Because we have 4 life, he has 4 life. Pass turn. Tell me that's not crazy right there. I didn't want to develop another body or lose cards in hand. I think just getting the Yamato there is really good, especially seeing where the game is. Now he drops down the 10-drop Rush Shanks. That card does suck for us, but it's one of those, I'm not too stressed about it, especially knowing what we have in our trash, because also if we would have played another character, let me explain this. So if we played another character there with leader ability, we only have 2 open slots. So if we play out one of the characters from our hand, there's not really anything we can do. You know what I'm saying? We'd be in a very tough spot. And now we can just play out the 7-drop event, or the 7-drop Big Mom, see what he wants to do. We're both just developing big bodies. Do your worst. Because next we're going to play Dorishishi and basically draw 2 cards. Not even going to use leader ability again. So he does take the life. We're getting to take his life without doing anything. And then we're going to grab this and a blocker, and then just pass turn. Because now he swings us, we take, we get Shaka, right? We block the next attack, he swings us, we take, we get Shaka. So we have basically 4 life here, and then we have 2 life. So I think we are really in the driver's seat here, especially because he's losing cards in hand while we aren't, thanks to the Dorishi and stuff like that. I feel like this is the matchup you needed to see for this late game deck list. That shows you why this one is so strong. Now let me tell you why that's so strong. That's really annoying. Petunia. So that's going to put us in a very tough spot, not going to lie. Private Face will take, we'll use the trigger, and we'll play out Shaka, just like I said, because now we still have 4 life technically. And then once he swings in, we can start swinging in and feel pretty safe about it. He chooses not to swing anymore, so it's gonna be 6K character. This is gonna be a 7K. So I think we start with maybe a 7K at life and see what he wants to do here, because we can always gain more life. We can add that Shaka to the top of our life, and now we have 2 Shakas basically. So I think we have 9 Dawn to split between all of these characters here. We don't use the Shaka, right? So we'll go tap 1, gain 1, again 9. So we have 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7. So that's 18, 25, 35, minus 1 is 34. 34 divided by 4 is like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So 8 and 2 9s. So I guess we're going 8 and 2 9s, it looks like. Let's start with an 8 at face, see what he wants to do here. We're not too stressed if he does clear our board, because we can easily get the board back, especially with knowing what's going to be in our life with having the 2 Shakas, because we don't have to use the Shakas unless we have to use the Shakas. We always have the Nami to play out if he plays out blockers to save himself and stuff like that. We're really forcing him to a tough spot, in my opinion, and we can't really develop a bigger board. He has all these 10 drops, so he also made our life a lot easier here, because he already used his leader ability. So this being a 6K, we can go 7 and then continue to split our Dawn differently for these characters, because if he wants to give us 2 more cards in hand, we could literally just pass at that point. So this is going to be 6, we can go 9 and then 10. So 9, and then we're going to go 10 after that. So it'd be 2, 2, 1, that'd be 3 cards in hand. If we needed to, we could go 7 after that, but he chooses not to. We'll put 4 here. We'll go 10 into face, and now it's like, you can clear my board. You can do that if you want, but can you really? So the issue is if we gain a life here, right? I gotta think about this mathematically. So if we gain a life, we give a shotgun life, but we only have 1 blocker on board and 4 attacks coming in to clear out our bodies, and he has 4 attacks. But if I guess we just have to gain it in life. I think this is the only thing that makes sense. I was trying to see if it would be better to gain the life or play it on the board and replace one of our bodies to save the bodies, but then we're just getting rid of one to save one, so it doesn't make sense mathematically. So we might as well just gain the life. We're at 4 life. We have a long way to go possibly, and he does get to play down the Ben Beckman here. Probably now he can clear out almost. Well, no, he can't even clear out our bodies. He doesn't have a blocker. So if we just go 10 into face, we're chilling. Take trigger, we're fine. He wants to swing again, we block out. I think we're in a really good spot. I think he just did the wrong play. He taps 3 here to play out Lime Juice. So now we can't block. That was pretty solid, right? But then Rayquaza just gets us another one, so it doesn't really bother us, right? So we just take, use a trigger, play out Shaka here. Now what? You can't clear my body, you can't win. We take, we use the trigger, we draw 2 cards. We take, no trigger at all. I don't think that was the play. I'm going to be honest. I think he just loses now. But I think he didn't really have much else to do. He could have cleared the board there, but we still would have 4 life, and then we'd gain another life next turn, and these bodies are triggering out. He has 0 life, so I think no matter what, I don't think it mattered, because we just go 6 here. We could just stack everything on a character. I don't even know why I'm wasting time, because it's guaranteed lethal. Didn't really matter. GG's to our opponent. That was the late game long deck list that takes forever. All right, we get to go second here, so I think this is a keep. You may be wondering why this is a keep, but we have 3 drops in our hand, which are really good going second. We can cheat out the Lilith on our next turn, and then, or we can cheat out something bigger if we wanted to, but I think the Lilith would be good for us. He gets to choose and grab a Sanji with the Law Searcher, which is going to be good for him. We both want first in this matchup. It's the same thing with Purple Luffy. Usually the decks who get first in these matchups with the purple deck list that want to ramp up, usually the guy who goes first just wins. But just remember, this is our mid-range strategy. So we're going a lot more control-oriented, while also trashing their life, clearing the board, making stuff not able to attack, stuff like that. So I think this is a pretty good matchup for us. We need to see that 8-drop Katakuri, just in case he has, what was I going to say? For his Gecko Morias to remove them, put them to the bottom of life, and guarantee no counters there. There is merit into gaining a life here, but then he'll choose not to swing, knowing that he's not going to get swung. So we have to deploy a card here, which is going to be the Lilith being able to search out whatever we need. We could go for the Egghead Island just to have this, but I don't know, because I'd really like to have a blocker. This would be good for the late game though, being able to play this on 2 and then cheat out a body. I think we're going to go with the Egghead, just because it's played on our next turn. we should be okay with that. My throat. Alright, so he plays Gum Gum Lightning, which does suck for us. I'm not going to lie to you guys, that's not something I expected to see right there, but it's something we just have to accept. So he's going to swing 6 for 7 at face. We do get this. We're not going to use the trigger though, because KOing this Law is not going to be good for what we're trying to do right now. And then we can guarantee that he doesn't have lethal on the board by cheating out the S-Snake, playing out the Egghead for 2, cheating out the S-Snake for 1, and then we can add, we can have this up just in case. So I think that's exactly what we're going to do. Play this for 2, deploy a card, deploying the S-Snake just like I said, just guaranteeing that can't attack, and then pass turn. There's nothing to stand as active, but it puts us in a safe spot so that even if he does clear our board or anything like that, we're still safe. But this matchup, like I said, is going to be just tough in general, so we'll have to see how it goes. We do have the 1k counter here, or the 3k counter here in this card, so I think this is going to be really good. We could also give him 2 cards in hand and then clear out the Frankie, which may be even better, which I think is what we're going to do actually, because if we draw into another card, right, then we can't use the Nami to full effect. So I think we give him a 2k, and I think we give him the Luffy as well, because the Luffy can't really clear much in this matchup. The Bonnie can at least get us more things later, but I think we do it just like that and don't use the 1-cost event. This is better to go in the top of our life anyways. There's merit to maybe countering with something we could have played on the field with this, but I think it's okay with what we did, because we know we're going to 6, so we can play this out for 5, get the full effect, draw a card, and then decide what we want to put in life, which I think is good. I think we will probably discard... I think we will discard Dorishishi. It's not what we need to see right now, because I would like to cheat out something that's a little better. We'll swing 6 in a face, see what he wants to do with that. If he chooses to block out, we can totally change our strategy. Chooses just a 2k counter, so we will play this for 5, discarding... We could discard Shaka to draw a card, and then add Rayquaza to the top of our life, which I think actually I like that. Because now we get to draw a card, and then we get to add a card to the top of our life, being Rayquaza. Pass turn, stand this as active, so we can only swing our life, and then we'll get a blocker out. Basically just like playing it for our turn, but he can't clear it out, and we gain life, so he can't have any way to go lethal, especially knowing that we only have this many cards in hand. And I think not getting rid of the Dorishishi was really important as well. Just because if we did get rid of the Dorishishi, we basically lose all card advantage later, knowing that the Nami's really clearing out our hand here. He swings 6 into face. We just have to take, use the trigger, and then get out. We could go for Lilith to draw a card basically, but then we still lose 2 cards. At least with the Shaka, we do have a blocker on the board, which makes us pretty safe. He chooses to swing 6 here at the S-Snake. I think that was a misplay. I think he should have swung face. There's not much we can do to this Sanji right now. We could just stack a lot of things on our characters and swing him, but he probably just counters out. Again, this is more mid-range strategy, so I think it needs a little more mid-range to really be in full effect. But who knows? Who's to say here? We will get to draw 2 right here, getting to grab 2 cards with trigger. We could grab the Nico Robin. We definitely need to grab the 2K, for sure. For sure. I think the Raigo might not be bad either, because it lets us clear something out at least. I think we'll go with the Raigo and the Frankie, right? We could go with the Rayquaza again, just to have the blocker and then be able to play something out for a second time. We may go Raigo. This may be a misplay. We'll go Raigo and Please Save Me, because now we can stack a little bit more to swing into this. So we could go 9 there into the Sanji, force 2 cards out of hand, which is honestly okay with me. I'm okay just getting 2 cards. Really starting to take cards from our opponent's hand. He gives us a Shirahoshi and a Black Maria. We get to gain a life here, so that's exactly what we will do. We will add a card to the top of our life. That top of life is going to be Rayquaza again, and then we're going to pass turn, stand this as active. The reason we went for the Rayquaza is because we can block out of the first attack, hopefully, and then cheat out the Shaka a second time. So then we know we're still safe. Our board doesn't change. He only takes 1 life from us, and so we don't have to lose cards in hand. The Raigo's going to be good in case he plays the 9-drop Luffy. It looks like he's playing the removal package more than anything, but I think the Raigo's good just for bigger bodies. We don't have the Katakuri yet to clear out anything, so I'm at the point where I want him to take 1 of my lives, so we may just block out and then take the second life if he swings us twice. My cat's tweaking behind me, though. He's just tweaking. She's running around in circles. He does exactly what I told you he might do. Literally, he does exactly what I told you he might do. Getting to gain another life back. We will, block out of this one, take the next one, block out of the next one, right? Or we could counter this one with the 2K, block out of the next one, take the next one. We'll do that. We'll counter out, we'll take the next one, or we'll block out of the next one, and then take the one after that. I think that's the best bet. Block, and then if he takes, or if he hits us, we get the Shaka back out. Take, use trigger, and then we cheat out. Shaka. It's like nothing changed, basically. Nothing happened at all. So we need to find a way to stabilize. The first play is definitely going to be the Raigo here, clearing out the Luffy. We don't really lose anything from doing that. And then we could go 9 into this guy again, and then cheat Shaka into life. Again, not losing basically anything. We go 9. He could give us more cards from hand, not knowing that we do have another Shaka. This will be active, so it's not going to be too bad here. And he lets it go. So now that he did let it go, we could go 5 into face and then cheat a Shaka into the board, giving us 2 blockers and 2 cards in hand. He would have to play another rush unit, which is really possible. I think we just gain a life. I think we literally just gain a life, get the Shaka for later, pass turn. Again, we're playing that mid-range. I don't want to give him cards right now. I think the 5 he probably would have taken and gotten another card in hand. We want to find some of these more mid-range bodies, and we're not getting them. We are not getting them. He does play the Gecko Moria into the Shirahoshi, giving our character -4, and then he has a 2 cost he can bring out, but there's nothing to bring out. So now he taps 2, plays Top Knot. Top Knot just being so OP in this deck list. Bottom decking our character. 6 into face, we take, use the trigger, we get another Shaka out. I think you can see where that's going. I think you can see where that's going. We're going to put 1 here. We're going to swing probably 7 at face, see what he wants to do here. The reason we did that is because we do need to get more cards in hand, so we will get to draw 2 and then trash 1, and I think we will trash. This is going to do nothing again. Like I said, this is going to do nothing in the matchup, but it could clear out his Shirahoshi, so we may put 1 into life. We may actually do that, because if he misplays this, it's really possible. We'll put this into life here for 1, because now when he swings us, we block out, we take. If he doesn't have a Dawn on leader yet, we kill the Shirahoshi, right? It's possible. It's not highly likely, but it's possible. And we definitely need the blocker, and we need the bodies on board. I think this deck's just not as good. Honestly, the mid-range is not as good as the regular deck list. Obviously, he did not do anything that I said he might. Of course, that's just the best play. He plays out the Sanji, clearing the Nami. Because the reason he cleared the Nami there, in case you're wondering, is because you're guaranteed to basically take the blocker here. There's almost no doubt about it. You're going to take the blocker. And he's going to get information on our hand by getting rid of the Luffy from our life, because we're not going to use the trigger to clear out a Trafalgar Law. There'd be no merit into doing that. I just think we're in a tough spot. I think he just wins the game. We don't have a way to go for lethal in the next turn. We don't have a good rush body. We don't have anything that's really developing on the board. He's got a full board. He could literally just swing with leader and then pass turn. And we can't counter out. We could block, but then we're in just a tough spot no matter what. We're not going to use the trigger. Actually, we are going to use the trigger and clear out the Zoro, I guess. Might as well. I don't know. I'm just a boy. He's going to swing 11 into face. I think we take. We get a good trigger. That's nice to finally get. We finally get the Nico Robin. Finally getting that. We'll grab a Frankie just for the 2k counter here. And then again, we don't present lethal on the board. He has a full board. We definitely have to gain a life. That's for sure. That's for show. So we will go 1 here. We will swing 7 into face. See what he wants to do with that. He could just Gum Gum Giant, block out of 1. We know we need 1 to gain a life. We get to draw 2, trash 1. I think we will trash. If we go 3 here for Dorishishi, 1 to gain life, we would still have 3 left. I think we have to Dorishishi. I think we have to, because I think we need to draw more cards. And we don't get good cards. We'll grab this, and we could grab this to get to search the top 5. It's not horrible, because we have the extra Dawn, we might as well, right? We'll go 5 in a face. He can just go for clearing the board rather than anything else. And then we will go 6, just in case he goes for lethal in the next turn. We definitely need to, so that's what we'll do. That is what we will do. You probably didn't expect that one, but we're getting into a much better spot now that we are spamming the board out. We have a bunch of counter in hand. We get to gain a life. So our gained life is going to be Joribani. I think that's just the best because it has a filter, draw 2, trash 1s. And then we get to add the Shaka back as active. So he can either clear our board and then we can go for game, hopefully, possibly. We did pass up on a Nico Robin, or not Nico Robin, a Nami that we could have grabbed to clear out the Shirahoshi. But he can easily get another blocker on the board with another Gecko Moria. He swings 6 at face. If we take, he could play something to I think we take this. It would force him to play something that clears out our Shaka, and we get to go ahead and draw 2 trash 1. I know this may seem crazy. We will trash the Please Save Me. No reason to keep that because it is no counter. And then now if he plays something that can get rid of Shaka, I think we're still safe. So I don't think that'll be a problem. He could play out for 3. He could play out Usohachi, resting this, and then put 6 onto this and have guaranteed lethal. Oh, that's a little different. I think that means we just lose, right? I did not expect that. That's crazy. Guaranteed lethal here. No reason not to swing in. Just get game. GG's to our opponent. That was a tough one. He did have the top knot as well, which probably would have beaten us just from the top knot alone. And he had the 1-drop event, getting to draw 2 new cards, which would be 1k counter, 2 more counter. I think we could have won on the next turn, but again, it's not guaranteed. We did finally get the Katakuri on the next turn, but I don't think that deck list is complete. The mid-range is not happening. All right, I told you we're going against meta-relevant threats out here. We're going to keep this hand, see how we do. They choose for us to go second, so I think we will develop Shaka on the board. It's definitely not going to hurt to have a character on the board, right? So we'll do that. Drink some water. Clear the throat out. Make sure we're okay. Wow. High roller. Wow. Good blocking counter too. I think that's going to be the best bet for this situation, and now we'll see what we can do. We definitely need to play this out, and we definitely need to try to clear out this body. That is for sure. So I think we'll go 6 here, see what he wants to do. Obviously, he's going to counter 1. There's no reason just to let this die for 1. We'll play this out for 2. We'll play this out for 1 here. We'll pass turn, stand this as active. Guys, it's getting to that point in the video where my throat is getting worse, so if I get a little more quiet, I apologize. It's getting at me today, I'm not going to lie. So it looks like he's going to swing 7 at face and then go 7 again at face. So I think we definitely take the first one. This is a high roller. He is getting everything he needs. He gets to, no, he doesn't get to bounce anything with that. We could use the trigger here, which I'm actually really not against, just getting another body on the board to play out. We'll get that. We could have used it for counter here in this next swing, but we can block and give him a 2k, or we can just take. I think we actually probably just take this. I think we're not scared to take that. See what we get. We get an amazing trigger here, and I think we need a Shaka. Luffy would be good to clear out a body, though. Just guaranteeing a clear. But with his hand size, I think the Shaka is just a safe play. Just to be, rather be safe than sorry, right? So we'll go ahead and swing into his board. 5 here. Will you give it to me? We have 6 Dawn available, so we know we have a 5 and playing out a 1. So we'll keep swinging. We'll go 5. What are you going to do now? You going to give it to me? He does give it to me. So we'll go 6. Do you want to give it to me again? He does want to give it to me again. So now we know we can put this in the top of our life and then cheat out a bot or play out a body as active. So we will add to the top of our life the Shaka, and then we could play out a character. Let's go 6 into face. Actually, let's play out this for 3, put 1 on it, and then swing 7 into face, just so we can get the draw 2 trash 1, because we know he's going to take this, right? So we get to draw 2 trash 1. We get a lot of good characters to clear the board out, so we will do that. Pass a turn, stand Shaka as active. This is going to be our first thing we use, because the other Shaka will play itself out. So if he starts swinging into our face, that's definitely what we're going to do. We have a good amount of counter too, 2, 3, 4, 5, in case he did go for lethal here, because it's definitely a possibility. That is the issue with this Doflamingo matchup. We'll just block that out for free. It's a free block out. He can clear out our Shaka, but it is what it is. I'm not too worried about it if he does. I wouldn't be surprised if he does play out like a Jozu or something like that. He had a great start, but this is where we start to take over the game, because every single turn I'm going to continue gaining life. I'm going to put the Luffy in the life in the next one. He can bounce our 2k counter back to hand, which I'm really not too stressed about. And I'm assuming he's going to use a Marshall D Teach here, because now he can put something in the top of his deck, play it out. But again, his hand size is dwindling, and we are beginning to take over the board. Looks like he wants to swing 5 and 5 here. He could go 5 and 7, so I think we counter out of this one. If he goes for this guy, obviously we can just bring something back out. It's going to go 5 and 7 here, kind of how we saw it written up. So the reason we're going to let this die is because if he wants to go 7, it would have to be at face. I guess it doesn't matter either way. I think we counter 1 here and then let whatever else he swings into die, because there was merit where he could have gone into face in case we didn't do that, but he didn't, of course. So we know we're going to put 1 Dawn here. We can play out the Luffy and that. So we'll put 1 here and swing 5 into the Marshall D Teach, try to clear out that body, and then we can go, what? We can go 6 into the Crocodile. If he lets it die, he lets it die. If not, we'll swing 7 into it. He does let it die, so we'll go 7 into face, get him to draw 2 and trash 1. We won't need this Raigo in this matchup, but this Luffy is going to be really good because now we can play out Luffy for 5, trash itself to clear this and draw a card, and now we can actually either gain a life or we can develop another body because he does not have lethal on the board with the hand that we have. We have plenty of counter, so I think what we do here is actually deploy a body. The reason we're deploying a body is that we have the Luffy now set up to clear his board on the next turn. We can pass the turn and we have a blocker, so we literally cannot lose on this turn unless he plays like Rush Usopp, and even then we have 8,000 counter. And he does get the Boa. The Jinbei into the Boa is going to be very strong here, giving him a rested Dawn on his leader. But you can see he's out of all of his resources, and this is why we have a winning matchup into this deck list, especially with this aggro deck, in my opinion, has the strongest Doflamingo matchup. So this is my personal favorite for the current meta, but there's merit into whichever deck list you do want to play. He's going to swing 7 here. We are going to block in 2k out just because there's no reason to just let it die for free. Why would I? So he could go 5 into this, and we could give him another 2k, because I think we're in a pretty safe spot to clear the board on the next turn. He does go do the 5. We'll give him the 2k again, which may be, a little much. We don't have to do that, but we definitely will. We'll swing, we'll put 1 here. We'll swing 6 into face, because either way we can clear out one of these bodies for basically free. He does counter out, so we will trash, clear out the Boa. We still have the Nami to use as well. We can now go 5 here, clear out another part of his board, and then we can go, 6 into face, see if he takes. Again, we don't have to be in a spot where we have to go for game. Another 2k counter is going to be really good. We won't need another one of these. We'll tap down 3, 5, and 1, so we can go 6 into face again. Very safe to do so, because we're going to be playing down this for 3, getting to search the top of our deck, grabbing another Nami here, and then we could play out. We can gain a life first, so we're going to gain a life so that we have 5 cards in hand. That just makes the most sense. So we will add Shaka to the top of our life, and now we have 5 cards. So when we play this down for 5, he just gives up. I'm telling you, dude, aggro's where it's at. That was a really, really quick matchup. That gives us our 3 games and 3 deck lists. I hope you enjoyed that one. Again, this is actually my favorite deck list for the current meta, is the low to the ground aggro strategy. You definitely need to play the Raigos in this deck list though, because of Shanks. The 10-drop Shanks just really, really cooks against this deck. So I think this is a very important card to play in the deck. The unblockable is also really good because sometimes it genuinely does just win you a game. So I definitely recommend playing this as a 1-of. See a lot of competitive players play 1 and 2-ofs a lot more in our format than they do in the Japanese format. So take it as you will. I think this is kind of the deck list for the meta. I think the mid-range deck list has a lot of potential in the OP10 format with the new 8-drop Eustace Captain Kid that we'll take a look at real quick. You may rest this character, trash one of your opponent's, the top of your opponent's life cards. Especially with playing the Dorishishi, I think you need to play this as a 4-of. I think you need to play this as a 4-of. I think you need to play this as a 4-of. And I think you need to play this as a 4-of. I think that's how we perfect the mid-range strategy in the next format, while keeping everything else pretty generic and similar. Maybe dropping the S-Snakes and the Atlas to the 4 of this, dropping the Katakuris, putting these up, and then playing the more Dorishishis. And I don't know that we'll need the Egghead, maybe as a 2-of in the next format. In my opinion, the deck list for OP10 that we'll be trying out very, very soon will look more like this. So 4-4, we need the Bonnie, which is going to be here like that. And this is probably the list that I'm going to run for our OP10 deck list, maybe switching the Atlas out or looking at the OP10 options. Just seeing if there's anything we want to play through here. Personally, I really doubt it. We could play the Zoro just to have a rush body, especially because we usually have lower life. So I'm really not against playing this as a 2-of. And maybe dropping that down 1, and maybe dropping, we need one more Dorishishi, so we'll drop that down 2, and then we'll play one more Dorishishi, and that gives us a game closer right there. So I'm actually really not against this deck list in the next format. So if you want to see that OP10 deck list or any future deck list, or you just want to join the One Piece family, join the Discord down below. That's going to be it for Vegapunk. We'll go into the last deck list just to give you a friendly reminder of what the late game deck list did look like. And that's this right here. I think this definitely needs some work too. I think it just doesn't work. I think the aggro deck list for Vegapunk is just the best in my opinion. Just being super aggro, I think, is just better. It beats Doflamingo, it does really good in Bonnie and other decks like that. I think this is the one, but let me know down below your thoughts, your favorite deck list, your favorite leader of all time. Join the One Piece family, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.